Welcome to the Education Over Debt podcast. I am Sheena Hogue, and I'm so glad you joined. This is a place where we share practical financial tips that anyone can understand and you can begin to implement now. Season 2 is all about relationships and money. Each week, I will have a different guest on, and they will share their journey. My hope is that when you leave this conversation, that you will have a new perspective, tip, or strategy that you can implement today. The Education Over Debt podcast is now streaming on Spotify, so be sure to check us out there and become a monthly supporter for as little as 99 cents per month. And if you haven't already, go check out our website at www.educationoverdebt.com to learn more about what we're doing in our community. The purpose of the foundation is to provide scholarship monies to students obtaining their bachelor's degree. We would love for your support. Today's topic is family and money. Our guest is Ms. Sabrina Gallion. Sabrina Gallion has always had a great heart to serve people. As a goal-oriented and business-savvy financial professional, she has made her mandate to showcase innovative resources to assist people in their financial needs. Sabrina's mission is to provide financial literacy to individuals and families by bringing an understanding about retirement plans and advocating for the importance to save for a life event or emergency. She is the CEO and founder of Charge Up, a women's group where the mission is to encourage women globally. She inspires women to transform into the women that God has called them to be and to reach their fullest potential in life. Her goal is for all women to be free and win in life. Hi, Sabrina.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for joining me, girl. Let's just get right into this. It says your goal is for women to be free and win in life. Girl, what are you doing to help women be free and win in life?
Yeah, so the first thing is my financial piece. I am in the financial industry. I'm a licensed financial professional, and we provide financial workshops for women. So we want them educated, and we want them to apply the education. Some of the workshops that we provide is retirement planning, college planning, which is what you talk about all the time, asset accumulation, increasing your cash flow. So we want to get them educated about their finances. We also have discussions on a monthly basis where we discuss different topics. We did one and it was about sisterhood, where we were bringing sisters together and we were able to have conversations about life and being able to express ourselves. So I want to set that safe environment for them to come in and just be able to release, but also being able to receive. So I have brought in special guests as well to give them information and to build their knowledge. And so we are growing by the numbers. I'm just so excited that God has placed this on my heart, and I just want to see women win. We support other women as well. So if other women have events or if they have conferences, we're always going to their events, or I'm always promoting them even on the page, or I have someone to do a video and I'll promote it as well. So it's a lot that we're doing.
Wow, that sounds awesome. I'm sure like a lot of people are getting a lot of benefits and learning so much from it. Like I would say for you as a wife and a mother of three, like how do you successfully like manage your money, or like how did you even get into this, or what are some things that you've learned, I guess, with just being a wife, a mother? How do you manage your money with your husband and your kids, teaching them about it and bringing them into everything that you got going on now?
Yes. So I would say it became a passion of mine because growing up in a household, they didn't talk about money. So I pretty much got to college and then I get like 10 applications to fill out for a credit card. And so it's like I didn't have any knowledge of that. And just going through life, I'm like, I want to get in this field because I want to be able to teach people what wasn't taught to me. And so that's what kind of drew me to the field. But now that I'm here and I have my family, it's with even with my husband, we have to communicate. And then also looking at what type of money personality he has. So there's a list. There's 5 types of money personality. So you have the saver, you have the the flyer, you have the spender, and then you have the one that's the security saver. So you want to look at, the security seeker, I'm sorry. And so with those types, he's a saver. So, and I know that I'm a saver as well, but sometimes I can be a spender. So we want to make sure that we are aware of what type of how we use money within the household. And the first thing is basically communicating, writing out our budget, writing out all of our bills. And then we also write out, what expenses we're going to use for travel or what expenses we're going to use for others, which is for miscellaneous expenses. And those can be just to go on a trip or could be to go to the movies, having family night and doing those things. Even with my children, they all pretty much work because my husband is a writer, producer, and a director. He's placed them in there. He's hired them in there to be a part of their play, and they receive a paycheck. And then with my son RJ, he's been on Chicago Med, and then he's also had a movie on BT. And so with that money that he received, he made sure that we put it in a Roth IRA for kids, so that once he gets older, he can take that money out tax free. But just sitting down with them and explaining to them the value of money, and we give when they have allowance, and we get to see what type of money personality they have. And
How
so
do you, I want to try, how do you determine their money type personalities? Do you have a quiz or something, or share a little bit more about the money personalities? You talked about the flyer and the security type. Share with us a little bit about that.
yeah, so with the money types, so my daughter, she has her own account. My son RJ, he's 12. He has his own account. And so we have access to those accounts. So we may say, okay, you have $1,000 and you can do what you please. And so my daughter, with her money, she automatically spends it. So that makes her a spender. She's not looking to say, hey, well, I'm going to put $500 over here. Now that we see that, we're able to talk to her and we're able to see why did she immediately go and spend her money? Why didn't she think about saving the money? So we try to instill different goals and different within them so that we can build generational wealth within the household. The same with my son. He has his own account. So we see him spending money, but he doesn't spend his money quickly as my daughter does. So it's like he kind of saves it, and he has his he keeps his longer. If I should say, he keeps his longer, and so he's more of a saver slash spender.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good that you are already kind of identifying it. And then for your spenders, I guess, do you try to like talk to her about need versus a want, or how to delay gratification, or is that really hard for her? How old is she, you say?
My daughter, she's 16.
Oh, 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so
So
she, yeah.
yeah, they're aware of what the need and the want is. I usually tell them as far as the need, I kind of take care of that, but then I do give some responsibility to them, but not all of it because they are still, they are still young, and so we are still teaching them. But yes, we do let them know, what is a need, what is a want, and having those conversations with them on a daily basis.
Yeah, I know when I was in high school, I had like two bills, my phone bill and like a car insurance. I had to pay for my car insurance, which at the time I had like a Cricket phone, it was like $20. And then my car insurance was like 100 and some change. So those were my two things that I had to do with establishing responsibility, or what my mom was trying to teach us as far as paying bills and all that. So that's good that you have already started setting like little things that they could be responsible for. Of course, not overwhelming them because they are still kids. So just keeping like a healthy balance. Are your kids starting to talk about, like the 16-year-old, is she starting to talk about college, or, other things that she wants to do as far as a career?
Yes, she has talked about college, and she also does art. So she draw pictures and she sell those pictures. So with doing that, we give them a choice. We want them to go to college, and we want them to get the education. But while she's in college, we're also, hey, you can start your own business doing this. She also does hair. So anytime she does hair, she's making $150 per person.
Oh, what kind of hair is she doing? Sew-ins?
Braids.
Braids. Oh, okay.
Yes, braids. She does braids, and she learned it just by watching a YouTube video.
Okay.
So she's pretty much looking at college now. I think she's only a junior, and we received about 20 or 30 letters. I guess they start so early to where they want, they want students to commit at an early age. I guess, doing the junior year, so they are prepared once they become seniors, and then graduation comes, and then they're ready for that first year of college.
Okay. Do you think she'll be more interested in staying in state or possibly going out of state, or have y'all had that conversation?
It's both, because so she's looked at some schools in state and out of state. Me personally, we have our what we want our child to do. So I'm looking for her to go out of state. So I
Really?
have two houses in two places.
Okay. Most parents want their kids to stay like close to them. So you like go out of state. And that's sometimes that's a challenge because students that stand being away from home, they get homesick and they want to know what's going on at home, and then they end up coming back home a lot. So that's good, because if you're saying, hey, go out of state, I could get a house there. Hey, that means she don't have to worry about getting homesick because you'll be right there.
Exactly. Now my husband, on the other hand, he said she's going to marry out.
Oh, okay. So
She's not going anywhere until she's married.
yeah, okay, yeah. So how she feel about that? This is 2021. You talk about marrying now.
Exactly. That conversation is still pending.
And what about your son? Has he started thinking about what he wants to do as he gets older?
Yeah, so my son, he's currently an actor, and he's under SAG, so he's under union. And he gets a lot of jobs with doing that, and he loves acting. So that's something that he wants to continue to do. And then I
Okay.
have a 6-year-old that does boxing, and so he has a trainer, and he goes 4 days a week for boxing training, and it's amazing.
Okay, okay. So all of the kids have their own little personality, different things they want to do, and everything like that. Do you find it hard to I guess kind of manage them or steer them into like doing the things that or finding like what they really want to do and stick with, or not so much? Because y'all seem like y'all got a strategy going on here.
Yeah, not so much, because we want to introduce them to certain things in different environments and kind of see how they feel or how they adapt to the environment. And I think that's when you know if that's their niche or if that's what where they want to grow. And so for my son, like with the acting, it comes so easily for him, and it's like he's not even working. It's something he loves to do. And then with my younger son, who's boxing, he's been boxing since he was about 3, and for him to have a trainer, it's like, and he loves it, like it's a passion of his. And so it's amazing. And then my daughter, she'll sit up in her room and she'll paint, and then she'll come out with a drawing. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And so how does she go about marketing or determining like the price for her paintings and stuff like that?
So with that, she varies, so we haven't really discussed like set prices. She'll probably have a friend that want to buy a painting, and she'll give her a discount, or she'll have a family member that wants to purchase, and then she'll give them a discount. But we're teaching her that sometimes you just have to have your set prices, and then people will just have to pay for the value of what
Right.
what
Yeah,
you're
that's
providing.
Yeah, that's always the hardest part, is like really determining the value that you're adding and just setting the price for them. And so when you're like working with women and you're helping them like with retirement planning and savings, do you talk to them about like their income and how to increase their income, or that whole spiel? Because a lot of times women, we do a whole lot and we don't get paid for everything that we do because we don't know how to market ourselves.
Yeah, so we have a workshop that talks about increasing your cash flow, and it pretty much provides different strategies that you can use and implement daily to market yourself, to be able to increase your cash flow. So we do have those workshops.
Okay. And then with the retirement planning, do you find, I guess with women, since you work mostly with women, do you find like the challenges, do they find themselves having challenges with actually saving or investing, or just talking about that whole conversation? Like, how do you get them to be engaged like they can do it too?
Um, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
With the women that you work with for like setting, helping them to increase their cash flow, do you find that they find it challenging to want to save or invest, or think that they can save or invest? Like, are those some of the challenges that they have? How do you navigate them to move forward?
I think just I bring so some of the clients that I have, I will bring them on a Zoom and I kind of show them step by step of how to log into an account, how to use this market strategy to implement in your business. And it's kind of like brainstorming first to see where they want to be, because in setting up those goals, and then and how do we reach those goals. So just pretty much laying out a business plan for them so they can reach that specific goal that they have.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah. So when I used to work with people, I used to, create financial plans and then help them compare if they have portfolios, with another company, compare and contrast maybe how this portfolio can help you get there and all that. So that's good. And it's good to see that more women are starting to get involved with it. I think sometimes it's been a men's game or a men's thing for such a long time. So it's good to now that women are becoming more financially astute and they're getting involved in investing and retirement planning and all that. So I know you have a new book coming out. Talk to me a little bit about your new book. What's it called? What is it called?
It's called Reawakening Your
Reawakening.
Roar. So basically, I give you stories about my life, and they're really personal stories that I'm providing to my audience because I want them to see who I am and look at some things that I've been through, but also looking to see how I overcome them, and then also you being able to reflect on it yourself. And then there's questions in the book for you. There's prayers in the book for you. There's also scripture readings in the book for you. So I want you to reawaken your roar.
Oh wow. So you say you give stories about your life and like different stages of life. When did you reawaken your roar? Like what got you into, actually reawakening your roar?
So I would say probably about 2 years ago. You get a lot of people dying in your family, and that alone can be so, it can just pull you down and bring you into like a sunken place or a place that you just want to stay stagnant. And so for me, it was like looking at my life and seeing what I want to do, um, seeing where God wants to take me, and kind of just having that time with Him, having that time of reflection, having that time to ask myself those hard questions. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? You know, what
Mm-hmm.
do you want to do in your life? What about the dreams and the aspirations that you have? And so wanting to see those things manifest and come to pass, it's like a fire that ignites on the inside of you, and you want more. You're pushing for more, you're pressing for more, but it's like God is leading you the whole way through.
Oh, wow, that sounds good. And so with that, do you for yourself, did you have like support to help you along those journeys to try to figure out like how to actually get to where you're trying to go? Because a lot of times, especially with working with people with money, they say they want these things, but then they're not willing to do what they need to do to get there. Like they may say, I want to get out of debt, but they're not willing to cut back the cable or something simple that could help them. So did you have like people come alongside you to kind of support you in doing that? And tell me a little bit about your journey with that.
Yes, so I had my husband, I had my friends, I had family members from church. Well, I call them my church members a lot, but they're like family members. And so just having that support group around you, speaking into your life, giving tips. I have a mentor. His name is Johnny, and he's in LA, and he's in the financial industry. He's been in the industry for about 16 years. And just having him as a mentor and him giving me the steps as well, like to implement in my daily life, my daily activities, and me seeing the growth of where I am and then where I want to be. And so I would say that they all played a major part, in me getting to where I am today.
Wow. So that's good. And so that's good that you were able to actually like do that. And now you're like sharing your stories. When is your book going to be available?
So it will be available before the end of this month.
Okay.
So I'll
Okay.
have a date that's coming soon. So it will be available soon, before the end of this month. And then you can find it on my website. It'll be there at www.sabrinagallion.com. And then it'll be available on Amazon as well.
Okay, well, that is really good that you are like sharing your stories. Are you sharing them like all stories, like money related stories and personal stories with your husband or your kids, or just different things you may have learned about yourself over the years? Is everything?
It's both, so it's intertwined.
Okay. Okay, that's good. And how do your is your family excited? Are they, ready to jump on board and help you with this? Are you doing a book tour?
Yes, when outside open up, that is my goal. To go to speak to people, to sit with them, have small gatherings, and just kind of, hear, allow people to have a voice, because that's the thing. Like, people need a voice, and so I think when people speak, they speak out life, and if they're not speaking out life, we want to reverse that.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think that was great. I mean, now I guess, with this virtual, you may have to start off doing some virtual, meetings, but definitely once things open up, I'm sure it'll be a success. But yeah, get started now with the virtual. So once you get it dropped, let me know. I would definitely share it with my platform, anyone who wants to listen, and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's always good to share your voice. I think sometimes, like you said, we do need to make sure we're speaking a voice of life and not of death, and making sure that we are being mindful of the words we use, and really trying to develop strategies to overcome. I think sometimes we get ourselves into situations and then we think there's no way out, but there's always a way out. And just knowing that God will be with you to get out, if you feel like you need to, like He's with you in every situation. So yeah, that's great that you are doing that type of work and encouraging women to share their stories, share their voice, speak a voice of life. And then also just with your kids and helping them to learn about money and learning what their money personality type is. That's really good too, because I think if you learn your personality type, then you could then begin to implement things to, develop strategies to achieve your financial goals, whatever they may be, and then possibly help someone else along the way, right?
Yes, that's right. And then they can share with their friends.
Right.
I'm a saver. I'm a spender. What are you?
Right. Yeah. And then when you start getting into relationships with people, you can, have a better match so that you guys can talk about money, because often when, working with couples, someone is usually a spender, someone is a saver. They say they want to achieve this goal, but it's so much tension and reluctance to actually get there. And if you can help them to identify where they stand, then you can then begin to help them identify steps that they could take to get there. And even it may be just something as simple as, I was working with a client. She didn't like that her husband would talk about money like every day. So it was just like, okay, maybe y'all just talk about money once a month or what have you. Like, he will just give you the update and move forward. But him talking to her every day about money as soon as he wakes up, that was a challenge for her. And she was overwhelmed by that. It's so many little things that you can do to change your situation that people don't talk about or even think about, because they think it's just norm. So that's good.
Yeah, I think that's awesome to talk about money every day, because it's something that's important, and you want to make sure that you have protection. I stress that you should have life insurance. You should have some type of protection for you as well as your children. And then from there, you can start to explore other strategies and diversify your portfolio. If you're looking to invest, look up some stocks to invest in, research them, and then go for buying them. But then also having other retirement strategies that are saved long term for meeting long-term goals, which are the Roth IRAs. If you have a 401k, look into what that brings and how that helps you long term, or if you have access to a pension. So it's so good to have those talks, because you want to make sure you're protected. I know a lot of people like to invest, but then you also have to have safe strategies as well.
Right. Yeah. And I always like to tell people there's a difference between saving and investing. Like, they're not both. So make sure you know the difference between the two, because sometimes people invest without having a savings. And then if the market goes down, they don't have nothing to fall back on. So yeah, there's definitely a difference. And like you said, protection is always key. Sometimes people don't think about the protection side of it. They're just thinking about the accumulating the wealth, but it goes hand in hand. You got to have accumulation, and then you also have to have your protection with your life insurance products, your annuities, your long-term care, or what have you, things that can protect against you depleting your investments in a nutshell. So so
Another
yeah.
important thing that people, it's good to communicate and with your spouse, and this is so important that you know who the beneficiaries are on your product. So if it's your retirement plan, if it's your insurance plan, if you have stocks, see how you can add. Is there an option to add a beneficiary? So you want to make sure that you communicate with your spouse what accounts are out there. Just God forbid if something happens, then that other spouse has access to everything.
Right. And having it in a location where they know how to get to it.
Yeah.
I would, even having in maybe a binder or something that just lists everything out, account numbers, this is the contact information, these are the beneficiaries. Like when COVID hit, I was working with deceased processing. Our New York accounts, a lot of our New York accounts didn't have beneficiaries. And, New York got hit hard first with the COVID. And because the courts closed, we would tell them they need to get a court appointment or something, but the courts was closed. So that just delayed the process even longer for them to get the money to, pay out because they didn't have a beneficiary listed. The courts were closed, so we couldn't appoint a heir or anything like that. They couldn't get a small estate affidavit. And so, yeah, really having your stuff up to date and making sure you review your beneficiaries. And if you get divorced, making sure that's updated. If someone passes, making sure that's updated, because that's another thing. People will get divorced and have their first wife, and then the second wife's coming forward, and it's a fight. or someone may have died. They had their mom died 20 years ago or something, and now who do we now we got to go through this other long process to get somebody else to get the money. So yeah, updating beneficiaries is a big deal, and making sure you have that, like you said, that resource available. They know how to get to the locations to understand who to contact, how to go about paying out this money or whatever they want to do with it. So yeah, that's all good, Sabrina. So thank you again for joining me. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions that I ask all my guests.
Okay.
And these are just first thing that come to mind. Just some fun questions I like to ask people. It's about 5 questions. So the first question I would ask you is paper or plastic?
Paper.
Paper. If you were in a movie and it was made for your life, what genre would you say the movie would be?
Romance.
A romance movie. You love.
Titanic.
Okay. One piece of advice that you received that you think everyone should know or that we should completely disregard?
Ooh. Follow your first mind.
Ah, that's good. Follow your first mind. You think that we should, take that advice, or you think we should disregard it?
You got to disregard it because you have to analyze things. You have to stop and think of the consequences. Sometimes we just go for it.
Right.
I would say depending on what the situation is.
What the situation is. Okay, that's good.
Our first response is all feelings.
True.
Right? So we want to make sure that we examine everything before we would react to certain things. And I think when we follow our first mind, sometimes that's our feelings.
That's true. That's true, especially when it comes sometimes to money. Because if we see something that we really like, it's like, I got to have it now. And yeah, that's true. I was just actually doing this with my mom yesterday, and she was sitting back, reflecting, thinking through some things. And although she wanted this new thing, she said, I don't think it's good that I do it. I think I should wait, considering the economy. We got COVID. They just did another shutdown here in Charlotte. So she was like, yeah, maybe I should just wait. And that's good. So yeah, don't always follow your first mind or think about it.
Give yourself a minute or two.
Right. How would you define success?
I think success is being you reaching a point in your life where you feel freedom. I think freedom is attached to success because at that point in time, you feel the joy, the peace, the happiness. the comforting of God. It's like you're out of that sunken place. So for success, you're being successful with your family, with your children, with your relatives, being success within your career. So it's looking at every area of your life and looking at the good and where you are and where you came from. So you can, I think we look at it as a big picture, but success can be just finishing setting one goal, a short-term goal, and then completing that goal, and you are successful in it, and that can be success. So it can be a lot of different things, but I think just getting to that place um, where you're good, you're okay.
Okay. And then my last question, in 3 words or less, describe yourself.
I would say that I'm loving. Um, I would say that I am friendly, and I would say that I am a go getter. That came to my head.
Okay,
Not
okay.
one
You're loving, you're friendly, and you're a go-getter. Those are all great words to describe yourself. Well, thank you, Sabrina, for joining me today. How can people get in contact with you?
So there's a few ways. One way you can go to my website, which is www.sabrinagallion.com. I also am on Facebook and Instagram, all of your social media outlets under Sabrina Gallion. You can also visit my website. This is for my financial business. It's www.wfgconnects.com /Sabrina Gallion. And you can also reach me. I just received a phone, and so it's my business line, and I had to write it down. But it's 847 798 6464. So you can either call or you can also text. Also, with that same phone number, you can send your name and your email, and I will send you links so that you can access the free workshops that we have every Saturday at 12 noon Central Standard Time. And again, it talks about retirement planning, college planning, increasing cash flow, asset accumulation, and a lot of other things.
Well, thank you so much, Sabrina, for joining us. I will have all Sabrina's contact information in the box below in the description. Thank you again, Sabrina.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tina.
All right, bye-bye. Wow, that was amazing. Sabrina shares so many tips for what we could do as we talk to our family about money. She told us the importance of communicating with your spouse regarding your money. Now, you can determine whether or not that's once a week, once a day, or monthly. Figure out a pattern that works best for you, but it's always great to communicate with your spouse about your money. She also talked about learning your personality types for your spouse as well as your kids. Are you a spender or a saver? And how that can help you all better determine how to assess and achieve your goals because you understand each other's personality type. And last but not least, she taught us the importance of communicating who the beneficiaries are on your account and having them in a location where it's easy to find and that everyone knows how to get to it if something were to happen. So she said, make sure you update your beneficiaries and communicate with your spouse to let them know who the beneficiaries are. We thank our guest, Sabrina Gallion, for joining us on the Education Over Debt podcast. And thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you check us out on Spotify and visit our website at educationoverdebt.com so that you can learn more about the foundation and what you could do to be a supporter. I am Sheena Hogue, and remember to live life, love life, and be well.